Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to 3304. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. This week, the Mercs of Mikkun reveal how to exploit the background simulation. We have some of the best fan concept art for atmospheric landings ever released. And Frontier say that Chapter 2 of Beyond may be closer than we think. The background simulation has some wide-reaching impact upon the game as a whole, and every player will be affected by it in one way or another. For quite a large number of players though, it is more than just a background element. Many players enjoy playing the background sim in order to promote their chosen faction. Very early on, Commander Walt Kerman and the Mercs of Mikkun released a tremendous player guide on the background sim, revealing many of the details on how the element of the game actually functions. Now the Mercs of Mikkun are back again with some new information, this time revealing specific details on the effects of transactions. The key part of this new information, and the part of the Mercs of Mikkun called the skeleton key, is the fact that the background simulation works by transaction, not by value. What is a transaction then? Well, it is essentially any action within the game that causes the confirmation of a particular event. For example, handing in bounty vouchers, completing a mission, or finalising a trade. So the fact the game relies so heavily on individual transactions means it's possible to have a massive impact upon the background simulation, and this in turn opens up a huge can of worms for player-created exploits. The Mercs of Mikkun used the following example. It means that 2 million bounties turned in at once equals 2 points, and at 200,000 bounties done 10 times, also a total of 2 million, will generate 20 points. So the same bounty voucher, but a factor of 10 difference in the background simulation changes. So this can be applied to every single BGS action in the game, which means it's going to be extremely easy for players to come up with their own exploits. Exploits here being a relative term, where players can invent creative ways to use rapid transactions that affect entire systems. Bottom line then, the fact that an individual player can sell goods one at a time in order to undermine the collective work of a group kind of underscores that this technique can and is used in an exploitive manner. Now there is a threshold that needs to be exceeded before a transaction can actually count. For example, 1 unit of coffee wouldn't necessarily reach that threshold, whilst 1 unit of platinum might. The Mercs of Mikkun haven't revealed the information they have on these thresholds, and the main reason for that is that at the moment at least, they are not entirely certain on specific figures. However, they are in a position to confirm that the rest of the details here are actual fact. So ultimately then, this is nothing entirely new, and people have been aware of this for quite a while, but not everyone will have been, and that really is the entire point here. The intent from the Mercs with releasing this guide is to make everyone aware of how the system functions, and then better allow them to understand the types of tactics that may be employed against them. For full details posted by the Mercs of Mikkun, do check out the forum thread linked below. Perhaps one of the most anticipated features for the future of Elite Dangerous is atmospheric worlds. YouTuber Matt Ricardo is clearly highly enamoured with the idea and has posted some exceptional atmospheric concept videos showing well-known elite ships flying over the surface of an Earth-like world, and it's quite possibly even Earth itself here. Yet again then, it's another exceptionally well-produced video from Matt Ricardo. Now Frontier have commented in the past that when they eventually do get around to atmospheric worlds, that they will roll them out in stages, with basic rocky atmospheric worlds like Mars coming first. So if Elite ever does match up to what's on display here in Matt's video, it's likely to be a very long way out yet. Even still, it's a very tantalising glimpse of what one day might be possible. Sticking with the same subject for a moment though, here's another fantastic image from Tuco So, this time showing a megaship over New York. This really is one of the best fan-made images so far released. Really do love this one, and some amazing work has clearly gone into it. One thing that really does stand out here is the sheer scale of the megaship itself, something which isn't always immediately apparent within the game. For links to both of these, to the video and to the image itself, do check out the links in the video description. Crime and Punishment is still well under active development, and past comments from Frontier have hinted that further changes and improvements will likely arrive in Update 3.1. One of these changes that we know will potentially be coming is the ability to hand yourself into authorities when you become wanted. Now, Frontier have recently confirmed some more information on some of the changes they'd like to add, and one of these is increasing the threshold for friendly fire yet again. And the idea here is to make it that bit more difficult to accidentally trigger an assault crime. They're also even considering going as far here as including hull damage within this friendly fire threshold, so quite a significant change. Some fixes to notoriety are also likely to arrive in 3.1 as well. The real big question though is when precisely will 3.1 itself arrive? What we know it's due to arrive in the second quarter of this year, and we're already in the second quarter now, so it means that the update could arrive any time between now and as late as the 30th of June. However, a recent hint from one of the Frontier's community team has suggested that 3.1 could be arriving a lot sooner than many people actually think. There's still no date, of course, but Frontier are notoriously tight-lipped about any release days, so even a hint as small as this one is likely to be indicative that we should be hearing about 3.1 well before the end of the second quarter. But of course, the date isn't the only thing we don't know about the 3.1 release. We also have no clue as to what Chapter 2 is actually going to contain. Rumours abound though that it may contain a new ship in the form of the Crate, but for that I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's hope then we hear information on this sooner rather than later. The player rescue group known as the Fuel Rats have unfortunately been hit by a bit of a problem. One of their home stations, Walheim Vision, has been UA bombed. Now, UA bombing, for those of you that don't know, is the process whereby a station is knocked down to reduce functionality through the sale of illegal Thargoid technology to that station's black market. It's not an unusual thing for a station to be UA bombed, but it is a bit of a standout moment for the Fuel Rats. So much so, in fact, that it made the pages of some major gaming websites, most notably Rock Paper Shotgun, and you can see the link to that article in the video description. Fortunately though, the Fuel Rats received a lot of assistance from players around the galaxy as people banded together to deliver meta-alloys, the only known cure to a UA-bombed station. Thankfully, the Fuel Rats can now continue with their mission of rescuing players that have stranded themselves in the depth of space. That then brings us to an end of this episode of 3304. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.